Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, there is some winter weather coming into a lot of you this weekend. Looks like Saturday night into Sunday, depending on where you live, throughout kind of the Midwest, upper South, East, that kind of stuff. Might get some ice, might get some snow, and depending on where you're at, it looks like there's some places that could get significant. So this is just kind of a little reminder warning that you should probably get ready for that. Ice can bring, it doesn't take much ice to bring down power lines. So, you know, even if it's not a massive amount, you could lose power. You could lose power for days, even potentially weeks. Roads are a lot worse to drive on in ice than snow if you've never driven on ice. Just because you may have a four-wheel drive, it may not give you that much more advantage when it's ice. People, because this is my suspicion. There's been a lot of overhype online for the last several days about the winter weather coming in. There's been things being posted that, you know, places like Kentucky and Tennessee and here in the Ozarks are going to see negative 40-degree temperatures. That's not going to happen. It's not true. But there's been a lot of hype built up. And then when the actual winter weather that is going to happen, which is going to be milder than what all the hype is, but still significant, hits, I think people will kind of freak out. And it's possible that in some areas you might already start to see, you know, store shelves start to empty out where people are going and buying stuff. So be ready. Remember, we should always have alternative heat sources. 2 is good, 3 is better. So make sure everything's ready, because it's possible. And then the ice and snow, sleet and stuff that's going to happen will be followed up with, it looks like, several days for a lot of us, that it may not even reach freezing during the day. So the ice or snow or whatever happens may stick around for a little while, which, you know, that's one of the benefits to living, you know, kind of in this area, is that even when that stuff happens, it melts away quite quickly. This one may stick around for a while. So be prepared, folks. So yesterday was the first official day of the year, and a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people are saying that, man, 2025 came in with a huge bang, literally and figuratively. Of course, the New Orleans thing, where the guy drove through the crowd, killing a bunch of people. That guy, apparently Muslim, possibly ISIS, has connections. The FBI, I guess, was announced, or they are interviewing a certain mosque that he supposedly had frequented down in Texas, and that mosque is not, they're not, you know, helping in any way. They're saying that they're not going to participate and cooperate with this investigation. John Kennedy, almost said Ted Kennedy. John Kennedy, the senator down there in Louisiana, made some strange statements yesterday during a press conference, insinuating that the FBI knows a whole lot more of what's going on, but they're not talking. So we'll see if more comes out about that. Then there was the Las Vegas Tesla Cybertruck that exploded right in front of a Trump hotel. That one was just, you know, pretty obvious. As you know, Elon Musk's Cybertruck right in front of Trump, right where the sign and everything is. One person was killed and several others injured. Both of those vehicles, the Cybertruck and the vehicle used in New Orleans, were rented on the same app, so they're looking at possible connections there. There's just other things that are kind of strange about both cases, and so a lot of people are starting to question all this talk that we've had for quite a while about cells being activated. Is that what we're seeing, or is this just a one-off thing where there's just a couple of people that may have a connection and this happens, and then that's the last we ever see of anything like this? We won't know for a while, but it's quite possible that things are kind of building up. There is a lot of suspicion right now that there's more stuff planned, that this is not going to be the end of it, and that this is kind of the start of stuff that we've been talking about for a while. we have to be ready for that, right? I mean, there's no point in talking about all this for the last several weeks, several months, and not actually being ready. You know, that's the thing. That's the one thing that I've worried most about when I make these videos, is that people watch them, at least some people watch them, and they may agree with it. They may think it's a great idea, but then they actually never make the next step of actually doing something. That's the problem. And unfortunately, there's too much of that going on, and it tends to be kind of a human nature to procrastinate. So if you've been procrastinating, it's time to stop, folks. And it's time to kind of start getting yourselves ready, because there's just so much going on right now. There's several articles just in the last few days about this H5N1 being the next pandemic, that it's started, or it's almost starting, or it's on the verge, and all this kind of stuff. The CDC is much more prominently involved in talking. You know, the typical doctors, some of them are the exact same doctors that were out during COVID, are out, you know, drumming this one up. The stuff with Trump and things that just seem like there's been 180s done in promises, but then also the fact that, you know, he's going to be taking office soon. And people are still wondering, will there be disruptions leading up to that and during that process? There's a lot of stuff going on. And these events that's happened yesterday, along with things that's been going on for the last few days, you know, even going back to the drones and the fog and, you know, things like that, people are starting to wonder, is this a big buildup to something that's about ready to really pop off? And I don't know. It does look like that could be the case, but we won't know until it actually happens. Either way, we have to be ready. And that's why we live this lifestyle, right? It makes the most logical sense to not be specifically a prepper where I'm just, you know, throwing stuff in a closet because it's cool, or because, you know, I live in a certain level of fear. What we're supposed to be is just living in a level of readiness, that we are ready for things that come along our way, regardless of how severe it is. I mean, it could be a terrorist attack that causes us to have to be ready for that. It could be that you fell and broke your leg and now you got to miss some work. You know, it doesn't always have to be the apocalypse or the end of the world. But that being said, right now, it does look like that it could be the more serious stuff. People are questioning. We've got all this winter weather coming in. Could there be an attack on the grid that would make things worse? The stuff that's going on in Israel and in Iran and Yemen and all of those places are heating up more and more. You know, a lot of people, they don't hear maybe about it in the news, and they think, well, things have kind of calmed down over there. Actually, they haven't. And the threats between several of the nations are still ongoing. The United States is still bombing in Yemen. The United States is sending $6 billion in money and weapons to Ukraine. This stuff is still happening, and it's causing the pimple to fester there. Let me put it into the most simplest, crude terms there. It's festering, and it's about ready to pop off. And the big question is when that's going to happen, and it doesn't look like it's too far away. So I would suggest strongly that you make appropriate preparations. You know, between the winter weather and then just the stuff that's going on, you need to go out and make sure your vehicles are all topped off with gas. Make sure you have extra gas cans filled, not empty, filled. Food, be a good idea to have that. Pull your winter stuff out. Pull your extra blankets out. If you lose power or your heat goes out, you know, at least you can stay warm most of the time. In most of the United States, there are exceptions, but for most people, even if you don't have a heat source in your home, you can still survive winter by just throwing some extra clothes on and some extra blankets. It'll be cold, but you could still survive it. Make sure you not just have food, but have food that you can eat without having to cook it or without having a heat source to heat it up, prepare it and stuff. So be thinking about that and actively working on that over the next few days. Make sure you're ready, because like I said, Saturday night, Sunday is when they're talking about the potential snow and ice and freezing rain and stuff. And then with all of these heightened alert because of attacks, you just never know what's going to happen and where it could happen. So be ready, folks, and get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.